I knew we could just go to bed, but I didn't want to go to bed knowing that something was off between us.
Yeah.
But at the same time, the conundrum of like, the reason she's frustrated is lack of sleep. And here we are having a deep conversation at 11 at night.
I
So
know.
it's one of those things of,
Yeah.
but I'm glad we made that investment, and then now we're
Me
making the
too.
pivot.
And when one of these vital signs are starting to really blink and kind of be right there in your face and say, okay, how can we get on a team and get happier together? What can we do to change in order to get this vital sign up and really pumping at the rate that it needs to be? Conscious couples, business partners, and singles committed to attracting their dream partner. Welcome to the Conscious Couples podcast, where we share our life, love story, and combined relationship expertise to help you create and consistently cultivate the most magnificent, intimate relationship possible.
Never again will you feel hopeless and alone in your intimate relationship challenges.
Having accumulated thousands of hours coaching conscious couples and individuals all over the world, as well as starting and growing a global business together, Alan and I are here to guide you in all things relationships.
Thank you again for tuning into the one place where it's not about you or me, it's about the we. Conscious couples and individuals from all over the world, welcome back to the Conscious Couples podcast. This is episode number 45. This is going to be, are you really happy in your relationship? And it's important to contemplate that every now and then to figure out if you are aligned or if you're not. As always, thank you so much to Next Level Podcast Solutions for producing this show. We appreciate you. And I want to ask, sweetheart, what is your intention for today's episode?
Thank you, love. So for our listeners, my intention for each one of you is to be able to scroll away from this podcast episode, starting that contemplation cycle of, are you really happy in your relationship? So starting that, and then after this episode, at least by mirroring what Alan and I do in this episode and sharing with you what are 5 elements of, if you will, the health vital signs of whether or not we're happy, you can start to think about what are the 5 that you should have or that you want to determine whether or not you're happy and to what degree in your relationship.
Hypothetical situation, you or someone you know is in an accident and they're rushed to the hospital, to the ER. The first thing they're going to do is check blood pressure, heart rate, the vital signs to check whether or not, and even if your leg is bleeding, the first thing they're going to do is check your vital signs, because they could be stitching up your leg and your heart rate could be dropping and there could be a bigger issue. So the first thing they're always going to do is check the vital signs. So that's the analogy here is, what are the vital signs of your relationship, of whether or not you're happy? I like the word fulfilled better, but that's not a catchy title.
It's not as catchy.
It's not as catchy. So are you fulfilled in your relationship? And these are the vital signs. So this is the story that we have for this. So on Tuesday evening of this past week, Emilia had a really, really, really long day.
Oh, man.
Really, really, really long day.
Long John day.
Long John Silver day. And in the evening, she was frustrated. And usually when Emilia gets frustrated, she'll get a little bit flush. Your face is always like a little flush. It's actually kind of cute. Oh, yeah, for sure. Because it's like there's just so much being held back. And so she'll get a little bit red and she'll get quiet. Yeah, exactly. Okay. She'll get quiet. And so that's when I know, okay, like, let's see what's going on. And let's figure out what's going on in there. What's going on in there. And so usually what I'll do is I'll just ask questions and I'll say, are you okay, sweetheart, or whatever. And so she ended up saying, honestly, I'm just overwhelmed. I'm frustrated. And also I'm a little frustrated that we haven't been getting to bed early enough to where I'm not getting good sleep. I keep having these early morning meetings and I'm not getting good sleep. You went to the office last week. You had to wake up at like 6 a.m. She just hasn't been catching up on sleep. And to provide some context for all of our listeners, sleep is like, we have our top 5 cup fillers. We've done other episodes on that. The number 1 cup filler is sleep and solitude. Yeah. I think it's foot rubs. Number 2 is sleep and solitude. Foot rubs is first. Yeah, foot rubs is first and sleep and solitude is number 2. So both of those cup fillers were not happening as frequently as Emilia would have liked.
Yes.
And so she was frustrated and she was quiet. So I think that, she didn't want to get her frustration on me. Yeah. But usually I do want to know. I want to get in there and see what's going on. And so she expressed her truth and we had a conversation that I would say, it went really well. I mean, it was very, very kind, all things considered, but it was definitely a little bit challenging. Very. And one of the challenging parts about it was just like, okay, we got to do better.
Yeah.
So Emilia and I have a schedule. We try to do 11 to 7. Now we just shifted to 10 to 6, which is a little more difficult since I like movies in the evening.
He loves movies.
Love it.
You can't stop.
Love it.
Which directly is like an opposite of like trying to go to sleep. You know, when you're like in the hole of like whether it's like a Netflix series or a movie and you're like, just 10 minutes. We just got to finish it. And then it's like the longest 10 minutes of your life. And then before you know it, it's like 1 a.m.
All right. That is extreme. Okay. It was 11:16 yesterday. No, I'm joking. Okay. So, but that's what it was, is essentially there was a bug in the garden. Emilia didn't feel heard or expressed or understood, and she was frustrated. And also, I mean, I want to bring a little more context too. Quite frankly, Emilia just grinds all the time, and there's very little room for anything else. And that's okay. I support you, baby. You have big goals.
Yeah.
But we went from that, and that is when you can tell. So when Emilia gets a little bit red and a little bit quiet, I can tell the vital signs of our relationship are potentially struggling. Now let's explain the opposite. Okay, so then the next evening we go to bed at 10. I think it was like 10:30, but it was awesome. We both have these Oura rings, and we have sleep scores that we send each other every single day. And so we have a sleep competition who can get better sleep. And so, you know, I tend to wake up in the middle of the night in poker. I'm just joking.
It's funny because I like kick you too.
Yeah,
so
she kicks me.
Mine was that's probably why mine was 85 today.
Yeah, exactly. When I got kicked out of REM, I just decided to I actually rolled you off the bed. I'm just joking. No, we're kidding. So we actually do really protect each other's sleep, like very, very deeply. Yeah. Well, thank you, sweetheart.
Best person.
And so the next morning we had 91 and 90. We had above 90 or something like that. It was like 91, one of the 91 and 90. Yeah.
We haven't had those numbers in literally months.
And another thing that's important to Emilia is data. Obsessed with data.
Yes.
As much as I'm obsessed with movies, which is great. And so 91 for her is like, oh my God, we're the best.
Yes.
We rock, right? Which the night before was like, we suck, right? And so self-esteem and data are very correlated. No, but anyways, so the next evening she was like, oh my God, thank you so much. And we're the best. And I love you. And thank you so much for supporting me. Like literally in almost a singing voice. You were so sweet last night. Aww. Yeah. So pumped. So then I took us off the rails. No, I'm kidding. But this is really good in real time right now, if you can see how much Emilia is laughing and how much I'm laughing, this is a vital sign that our relationship is good right now.
Yeah, we happy.
And yeah, we happy. We so happy. We fulfilled. We fulfilled. No, but now she's going to go through the vital signs, but I want everyone to connect those stories with their own life. This isn't about Emilia and I. This is about you and your relationship and your life.
Yeah.
And you know, obviously there's different nuances with each couple, but these fundamental vital signs are very similar. So go ahead, sweetheart.
I'm so glad that you picked up on the vital signs, because I really dropped that down. You picked it up and you like ran with it in this exact essence that I wanted to, because really it comes down to like, what is the blood? What is the lifeline? What is the CO or the oxygen of your relationship? And for us, like Alan said, these are our 5. So we know that if these things are not happening and the frequency, the intensity, the duration, if that's changing, then we kind of know to tap in, because the trend line for the relationship might be starting to take a nosedive for whatever external reason or internal reason. Mm-hmm. And so whenever one of these might be off to the extent that we both want to hold the standard to, that's a great check-in moment. Like Alan, you had done a great job at, where that night really helped to open up and provide opportunity and change and evolution within our relationship. So,
and I just want to share this. That was hard for me too, because I knew we could just go to bed, but I didn't want to go to bed knowing that something was off between us.
Yeah.
But at the same time, the conundrum of like, the reason she's frustrated is lack of sleep. And here we are having a deep conversation at 11 at night. So it's one of those things of, but I'm glad we made that investment, and then now we're making the pivot. And so, and one of the options too, you had said like, what if you do 11 to 7 and I do 10 to 6? And I said, sweetheart, I don't think that's what we want. We've tried and we like to go to bed together.
Yeah.
So I'm going to shift to 10 to 6, and so far so good.
Yeah. So far.
1 for 2.
Hi, everybody. I wanted to jump on here and talk about the Conscious Couple podcast that I've been listening to for a while now. And I absolutely love, whether you're single, in a relationship, or not, this is the podcast for you. I mean, think about it. If you're not in a relationship, look at it like building a house. If you were going to build a house, wouldn't you get the instructions, figure it out, look it over, start practicing some of the little things so that once you start doing it, it's going to be the best house that you ever built? Or if you're in the house already and there's issues that are going on with it, aren't you going to try and fix them? Or think about it while you're building the house and the base layer, there's some issues there. Don't you want to correct those and fix them before you work on the rest of it? Have a great day, guys. Awesome podcast.
All right. So these are our 5, and you can take them for now, kind of see if they work with your relationship, and swap them out for the ones that you believe are best for your relationship. So our top 5. Number 1, we have hit on that very hard with respects to laughter and jokes, really like a playfulness essence. If we're frolicking in the morning before our calls, that's a great sign that everyone that comes into our path is going to have a great day. No, I'm kidding. Number 2 is obviously sex. If we're not having sex, then that's a huge indicator that something's up, and we should definitely explore that. Number 3 is singing. Both Alan and myself are incredible performers. I don't know if anyone's ever heard us sing, but maybe we'll do an episode where that's just us and we can Christmas carol it up. Whenever we're not singing, and it's just playful singing, not like actual like on the microphone like singing. It's just playful in the house, like singing to each other randomly. That is a great indicator that we are super happy. Thank you. Number 4 is dancing. We also have in our household a thing called the chicken dance. So
the chicken dance.
The chicken dance is what we do practically before we put the chicken in the Instapot, and food is one of our love languages, so we get really, really happy. And whenever we're dancing, whether it be the chicken dance or to You're Welcome by Dwayne Johnson, we're always dancing, and that just is moving the energy of happiness, fulfillment through our body. So that's a great indicator.
And then randomly we'll occasionally throw on like a love song, and we'll actually dance.
You are such a sweet slow dancer. Yes, he is so romantic. It's unbelievable. I'm a blessed woman. Yes, slow dancing is my fave. And then we bring Tucker and Tariel in that.
Very
it's
sweet.
So cute. Okay, and then number 5 for us, number
please.
5 for us is pranks.
Okay.
So we'll do like, not like the like pull your pants down like kind of thing, like and run away kind of prank, but like we have like cute little poke relationships. What's a good example of that?
One time we were making nachos and I forget what, but like you'd randomly start like pretending to put like dish soap on them or like that kind of thing. Sauce. Yeah, instead of sauce. Yeah. Like, and then one of us out of the corner of our eye will be like, oh, right, don't ruin the nachos, right? And that kind of stuff. Yeah. You know, the dish soap one didn't actually happen, but that would be hilarious.
No,
that's
going to
be
hilarious.
My next one.
That'll definitely be your next one.
Randomly we'll do things to like, if you have kids in the room, we apologize, to fuck with each other. But it's not like at the other person's expense, and it's not in a stinger way.
Yeah.
Sweet Peanut, I just try to, if you can. Thank you.
Okay.
I just want to make sure you're talking into the mic.
Thank you. Yep. So pranks, that's number 5 for us. Yep. So again, take these, try them on, see if they work for your relationship with respects to if they can be the starting point of some of your vital signs. Because honestly, when we look at a lot of relationships, they all have their different form of these same 5 too, which is really cool. So try them on, see what works for you, and help yourself lead through the discomfort when you might not be happy. And when one of these vital signs are starting to really blink and kind of be right there in your face and say, okay, how can we get on a team and get happier together? What can we do to change in order to get this vital sign up and really pumping at the rate that it needs to be?
So, the last thing we want to share here is just check in on yours, to Emilia's point. And maybe it's not 5. Maybe you start with 3. Maybe there's one big one that you want to start with and then build. And at the end of the day, what you want to do is become more intentional and more aware. So what is a vital sign? What is an indicator that things are going well? And what is an indicator that things aren't going well? So for Emilia and I, again, just to wrap up here, if Emilia is very quiet or I'm very quiet, we're most likely suppressing something. We're most likely in deep contemplation, and we're most likely problem solving on some level, which does indicate that there actually is a problem.
Yeah.
And that doesn't necessarily mean it's in our relationship. It could be something she's going through at work or with her business or in life or vice versa. And I think that at the end of the day, if you can have a conversation and sit down and talk about it, what happens is you won't actually do that unless you can identify it.
Right.
And so 0 to 10, where's your relationship at right now? That's a good question to constantly ask.
How
0 to
happy
10,
are you?
how happy are you? I don't think happy is I really don't. I think fulfillment. How fulfilled are you? Because I think happy is much more pleasure oriented and like more momentary. I think fulfillment is more like the trajectory.
I agree.
But at the end of the day, how happy are you or how fulfilled are you in your relationship from 0 to 10? If you're at a 5, you need to work on that. You know, and remember that your new 5 could be your old 10. In other words, you grow over time. So Emilia and I, for example, a lot of people get into a relationship and they have the honeymoon phase.
Yeah.
And Emilia and I talk about how we want to create a honeymoon life. And that's not easy. It takes work. It takes intentionality, but it's totally happening. And I'm genuinely happier now than I've ever been.
Same.
You know, and it's because of this stuff. It's because of this stuff. And it's because we recognize, we identify when things aren't going well, and then we talk about it. And I remember the moment in bed when it's like, I could easily just go to bed. We could easily just go to bed and I could just presuppose everything's fine. But that's when things get worse, not better.
Yeah.
You know, so have the conversation. Have the conversation.
Grateful for that. It's like vital signs. You go to the doctor to check on your vital signs too, right? Proactively.
It's a checkup.
Are you doing that with your relationship? So hopefully this episode helped you to
Do we have a timer, love?
Yes, and I believe it just went off. Whether it is.
Oh, okay. Okay, perfect.
I felt it on my watch before.
Okay.
So hopefully this episode helped all of our listeners really meet that intention that we set. And I hope that you can take a peeksies at your vital signs to help you and your relationship.
Thank you so much for listening. As always, we have a Relationship Talks event every single month. Our next one is our 19th event. It's on understanding you and your partner's attachment styles, and it's on January 12th at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You can join us, mic and camera off if you want, or you can engage as much as you'd like. The last one, I think we had like 14 people in there just talking about life, love, and relationships. And at the end of the day, if you don't talk about something, you're not going to master it. If you don't master it, you're not going to get the results you want. So join us. Those are completely private. It's a safe place where everyone in there wants to work on their relationship. And so even if you want to bring your partner or come individually, you are welcome.
Yeah. And Alan and I make sure that we create 30 minutes on our calendar every single Saturday for people who really believe that relationships, love is meant to be protected, and who believe that if you work at it, love can grow and your relationship can grow and get better, right? And so we allocate 30 minutes on our calendar for anyone who is interested in learning more about relationships. If you're struggling with something, this is a free, completely free, safe space for you and your partner if you want to bring, or you and a friend if you guys are having relationship challenges. Because we know growing up, there was no safe space to really talk about that. It was uncomfortable. It was weird. You know, learning about this stuff, it would help all of us. And so whether you're struggling or whether you want to learn, we encourage you to book that on our calendars, and we would love to meet you.
Huge shout out to Matthew and his girlfriend. Matthew reached out to me on LinkedIn and said, thank you so much for your amazing work on the Conscious Couples podcast. Me and my girlfriend are getting together to set our goals for 2023. We've become way more intentional, all that stuff. Matthew, if you're listening, book a free Relationship Talks already, will you? No, I'm joking. But seriously, thank you so much for reaching out. We adore those messages. We got that last night on my LinkedIn. So reach out anytime. We look forward to meeting you and your girlfriend, and good luck in 2023.
Yes. It's not about you.
Or me.
It's about
the we. We'll talk to you next time.
Bye, everyone. Thanks for joining us for another episode of the Conscious Couples podcast. We love connecting with the Conscious Couples community, so please make sure you follow us on Instagram. I am at Evolve with Emilia, and Alan is Lazaros88.
Also, if you or your partner resonated with this episode, leave us a review at the link in the show notes, and please share this with someone you love and care about.
Until next time, remember, it's not about you or me. It's about
the we.